Alright guys, in this video I'm going to show you guys a comb over and why we have to cut each side differently. On this side we're going to part the hair down and this way, and we're going to comb all the hair over here to here. And I'm going to show you how to make it look symmetrical, even though they're both going to be cut different. I'm also going to show you guys the difference between a taper comb, which is a smaller comb, a mid-sized comb, white comb, and a flat, larger comb, red comb. And there really is a small difference. It kind of just goes to whatever you choose, but I'll show you guys in the video. It's going to be a full haircut. It's going to be the first full haircut on my YouTube channel, and we're doing it with some T-pop clippers. Let's get it. All right, so the very first step of every haircut that I do, especially if it's a new client, is always comb the hair down. You never know what you're dealing with. So I'm just combing his hair, making sure everything's good. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I'm doing here. And the reason why I don't record full haircuts is because I have to keep switching the camera angle and it just takes too much time. But because I love the support you guys give me, I'm gonna do it, and I hope you guys like this video and this type of content. And if you do, I never say this, but drop a like and drop a subscribe. Thank you. So now that we're done combing the hair, the only thing that I see is over here towards the back area where his occipital bone sat. He has like a major bump, and it shows in his head. If I show him over here, you kind of see it, right? So when I come down to this area, I'm gonna try my best to drop it down below that, so we can keep this side heavy to hide that. Whether he likes it or not, it just will look better if he has more hair here. So whatever type of fade he gives me, I automatically know. It doesn't matter if he asks me for a high fade, a mid fade, or a low fade. I'm gonna drop it down here no matter what. We're gonna make our zero guideline right here. And like I said, we're dropping it down in the back. So I'm gonna make a line here. And I wanna give myself enough room to blend. So look down a little bit. So we see this is the part we're trying to get. So I wanna give myself a good amount to blend. So instead of making my zero guideline all the way down here or up here and not giving myself this much room to blend, I'm actually gonna drop it a little bit lower. Worst case scenario, we have to go a little bit higher, no big deal. But if we go too high, we can't go lower. So that's the idea with starting low. Yeah, basically. All right, so obviously you can see that this line is not straight. It's not perfect by any means. And I just want to show you guys, that no matter what, it's okay to not spend too much time and to not have the initial guideline perfect. Now that I balded everything underneath, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make sure that it's symmetrical on both sides. So I'm gonna come over here. I'm just gonna retouch it up. I'm gonna flick out as I get to that line to make a soft guideline. The softer the guideline, the easier it is gonna be to blend. So we're gonna take a real good look back here. If you see it, it looks all wobbly here, right? So all we're trying to do here now is trying to make it look symmetrical. So obviously we can see that this side is higher than this side. All I'm gonna do is not touch the right side, go a little bit higher on the left side. And it doesn't have to be insanely symmetrical, but that's it. The whole point is not to spend too much time on this. Cool, now that we have our first, we're gonna start balding out. And I've been using these shavers because I absolutely love them. They're strong, they're small, and like you can damn near put this anywhere. So as you can see, I'm leaving myself about a room here, right? And then once I get to like this area right here, I'm gonna start flicking out so the shaver can blend straight into the zero line. You're gonna see it over and over again that I'm just gonna flick out as I get there. Right here, I'm flicking out. You can even see these hairs moving because I'm actually flicking out, right? Now we're gonna do the same thing here. As we get close to this line right here, we're gonna flick out. Same thing here. And right here, we're gonna get these little hairs behind the ear. And that's it. This next step is gonna be the same. We're gonna go with the lever all the way open. And we're just gonna go about a comb's worth, a small comb's worth. And if you're a beginner, I always say, give yourself enough room to blend here. There's absolutely no reason for you to be making small guidelines. If you're making small guidelines, you're literally making your life harder. You're making your life harder, that means you're gonna give yourself You're not gonna give yourself the confidence to cut hair, and if you don't have confidence, it's not gonna be fun. And if it's not fun, you're gonna hate it. And if you hate it, you're gonna be bad. Our two main objectives for this haircut is to keep this dark. That way we have support here for the hair to comb down, because he wants to comb this down, he doesn't want this short. And our second objective is to keep this dark to hide that little thing right there that he has. So the little bump. So because we want to keep it dark, we're going to use our dark guard, which is a 3. Okay, I need you guys to think of guards as shades, and the darker you get up here, the better the blend's going to get. So we're going to use a 3 guard, which is a dark guard. You can, with the lever all the way open, and we're going to go all the way up there, and we're going to follow that same shape as the other 2 lines. And if you make a line, it's okay. All right, it's preferable if you don't make a line, and you do that by flicking out. And it's not scooping it. You're not scooping. Everyone talks about a scooping motion. That's completely wrong. It's really wrong. All you really got to do is angle your clipper out a little bit and just go straight up. That's all you got to do. And obviously you keep it angled. You don't go back. You just keep it angled and you go up, 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 up. As we're getting over here to this area, obviously we're keeping the same amount here as we are over here. Whatever guard I put here on the ridge area or on the ridge area, right? I like going with it downwards if it looks a little too bulky. That one didn't cut anything. And over here we're doing, so far it's the same thing on both sides, okay? Now that we have our top done, you can see it's blending nicely into the top, but we're still gonna blend it a little better. You can see a little bit of bulk here, a little bit of bulk there. Now, we're gonna go back down to our 0 guard, right? And all we're gonna do here is, this is with the lever all the way open, which is open. Now we're gonna close it 2 notches down. We're gonna go right in between both of these lines, and that's all we're doing right now. That's all we're focusing on. Now we're gonna, and you can see I only passed it 1 time, and that just goes to show that you don't have to keep going at it. You can if you want to, just don't take too much time on it. Don't spend too much time on it. Now we're gonna close our lever all the way down, 1, 2, and we're gonna get rid of that 0 line. Oh, fuck. Now we left a small little 0 line, and I'm gonna take some clippers that I have that are not 0 gap, and these are my play clippers. So I'm just gonna go right at that 0 line. I'm just gonna barely touch it, just to make sure I don't, if I go too high up, it's not a big deal because they're not fully 0 gap. So they shouldn't leave like a big line. But if you can't still take that 0 line out, then whatever you made that line with, you can take it out. You can take it out with that same guard. And as you can see, the 0 line was pretty, because my other clippers are super 0 gap. And that's the struggle of having really 0 gap clippers sometimes. The good thing is that they maul through the hair. Like, they're gonna cut the hair ASAP and they're gonna cut it crispy. The bad thing is that sometimes you leave a little line. But you see, we fixed it, we fixed it, no big deal. Okay, so we're using the 3 guard method today. Our first guard was the number 3 guard. Now our second guard is the 1.5 guard. The 1.5 guard, as long as we angle it out properly and we go up, is gonna blend right into the 3 guard. Now we know we put our 3 guard all the way up here. So obviously we're not gonna put our 1.5 guard all the way up there, because if we do, then we're gonna make a line. And obviously, this does not cut hair, so if we put it all the way up there, it's not gonna do anything, right? This is not gonna cut it. What cuts is the cutting blade all the way down here. This is a guiding guard. The second blade that you see up here is a guiding blade, and this little one that you see back there, that's actual cutting blade. So we're gonna go up here, we're gonna angle it out a little bit, go straight up. So I forgot to mention that we have the guard all the way open right now. And keep in mind, we don't want to go way too high up here, so we're going to go right underneath that bone. But we also don't want to go too little, because then we're going to create a lot of bulk. So as you guys can see here with our 3 guard, we didn't blend it in properly, but that's not a big deal. We're gonna take care of that. The last guard we're gonna use, and we're almost done with the blending process. The only lines that we have to take care of are this line right here and this soft line up here. And that's it, we're done with the haircut, okay? It's that simple. We have a system, we did our 0, we balded it out, we did our half line. We know how to take care of our 0 line, right? Then we did our 3, our 1.5, and now we're doing our half, and that's it. So what are we doing with this guard? We're going with the lever all the way open, and we're gonna do the same thing. Instead of having the blade flat on his head, we're gonna angle it out a little bit, which means most of what's gonna be touching his head is this area right here. It's not this area. This area is not gonna touch his head at all. If this area is touching his head, that's gonna cause digging. If this area is touching his head, it's gonna promote the right angle, and all you have to go do is go up and down with it, right? Now, obviously this is too much. This is not gonna cut hair, so it's gotta be slight. This is digging in. This is how you want it. So when you go up there, you can see that this line is getting lighter and lighter. And we're applying very light pressure here. A lot of people go like this on the client's head and like they're very rough. It's not about being rough, it's about being nice and light. And when you're nice and light, it's kind of like if you're tracing, like if you're shading very light on a piece of paper, right? And you know exactly how much pressure to put on that pencil to make sure that it's like a nice light gray. It's the same idea. It's very light, very, I don't know how to say it, I guess, just light, no pressure. Okay, and we kept the lever open and it's practically blended. It doesn't always work out that way. Hopefully it works out that way over here and on the other side. But sometimes if the line is still there, like right here, for example, you can just close it 2 notches down. So 1, 2, and then you hit it again. And that should get rid of the line. And sometimes that doesn't work out. You go 1, 2, and then you do it again. But you can see a nice smooth blend. Now on this side, all we have to take care of is that line, and we're done with this side. Let's keep going with the other side. So same thing, we have our lever all the way open, very light pressure. We have the angle, we have the clipper angled out. Over here, his hair is growing sideways, so we're gonna go against the grain. And I'm only doing with this corner. This corner is elevated, right? And we're doing it because his hair is growing it over here. If we go like this, we're not gonna cut anything. All right, so we got muscle head over here. And because he has a lot of like meat here and muscle, it's very hard to blend. You can see when he smiles, all of this is very, very compressed, right? And that makes it really hard to blend. And it sounds like a joke, but I'm not joking. You'll get a lot of people like this. I have a head like this too, right? So what do you do here? All you gotta do is put the ear down and just stretch the skin. So, like I said on the other side, it doesn't always work out in the first go. Right here, we have all my clipper all the way open and it's not blending in properly. So what am I gonna do? Close it 2 notches, go to the same spot. If that doesn't work, I'm gonna close it 2 more notches and go to the same spot. And now you can see that this side was a little bit more hard, but it's starting to blend in properly now. And guess what? It still looks a little dark there, so we're just gonna go up there all the way open. The higher you go, the more you wanna open your lever. The lower you go, the more you wanna close the lever. So you can see how dark it is over here. All I'm trying to do is lighten it, because it goes from light to dark too quick. There's not a smooth transition there. All right, we're almost done with this side. Then we gotta do the back and we gotta blend the top, and that's it. All right, this line I can still see a little bit, so I'm gonna take my clipper off and close it 2 notches and go right at that line. All we're worried about right here is this line, and it's super heavy, super dark. So this is all the way open, and I'm going all the way up here. And now halfway, 2 notches down, and now all the way close. Put down a little bit. I see it right here. So now the only thing we have to take care of is this line. But before we take care of it, we gotta understand what makes this line, right? Well, what makes this line is that these hairs up here are short, and these hairs all the way up here, these that I'm touching, are long, and they all come over here and they create bulk. The other thing that I want you guys to understand is the shape that you're looking at, right? So when I take this line out, you're gonna see that the hair is not going like this. It's actually gonna go like this, right? And that's what creates that bulk. And in order to create a smooth fade, you need a straight line like this. So once I take this hair out, we're gonna go up here, and I'm gonna get it from the angle, and sure enough, look at that line. It's exactly what I was looking at, what I said it was gonna be. See how it's really long up here, right? So I'm gonna get one single strand, and you can see that it's going straight, 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 and then it droops out. So straight, 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 and then it droops out up here. And so what do we gotta do? All we gotta do is take care of those hairs that droop out. Now that we understand that's what it looks like, that's all the hairs we're looking to cut, and everything's gonna blend in smooth. We saw the hairs that I need to cut. I'm gonna show you 3 different ways of cutting it. 1, small comb, thinning shears. We're gonna go up here, keep your eyes here. Now, obviously, if you do it once, you're gonna leave it uneven. The whole point of this is not to do it once. You wanna go up, and you wanna keep doing it up until it blends. You can still see it's heavy, so I'm gonna keep going. And now you can see it's blending in properly, right? Okay, now it's a lot smoother. These hairs we're gonna end up cutting with shears. That's one way to do it. Second way of doing it is a medium comb with shears, and it's the exact same thing. The only difference is with thinning shears, you're gonna cut essentially every other hair, right? With this, you're gonna cut every single hair that you see up here. So you have to snip it less amount of times. The reason why thinning shears are so essential is because if you make a wrong snip, it's okay, it doesn't matter, right? You have to keep doing it over and over and over and over and over and over for it to cut it. With these shears, you only cut it once and all the hair is gone. So we're gonna go up here, we're gonna be very careful, right? And you see it took 1 or 2 snips for it to blend in properly. We're gonna go up here, and everything's blending out a lot smooth. So that's the difference between thinning shears and regular shears. Thinning shears, that's why I always say they're better for beginners, because if you make the wrong snip, it's okay, no big deal. But if you make the wrong snip with these, it is a big deal. So use thinning shears. The comb that you use does not matter. Everyone wants to teach other people about, hey, use this comb, use that. It doesn't matter. Use whatever comb you feel comfortable with. Last way of blending, we're gonna use a flat comb, and I like using red combs. I don't like using black combs because black combs you can't see the hair. And just your regular shears, your regular clipper. And really, it's all about understanding the angle that you have to put your comb in. It's not about what clipper you use, it's not about what tool you use. It's all about understanding this, and that angle that you're trying to make. So if I put my comb like this, you're gonna see that it creates a straight line. And as I go, I'm gonna turn them. You're gonna see that we're creating that shape that I'm always talking about. I hope you guys can see it like that. We're creating that shape that I'm always talking about, where it's an upside down triangle. It's coming out as we go up. So I'm gonna go up here again, right? And you see how my comb is touching here? And as we get up there, it's coming out. And you see how all the hairs are going like that. So if I go like this, I'm very confident that none of these hairs are gonna cut, because it's cut perfectly. Look at that. And now we look here, look how smooth that blend looks. So it's all about creating that right shape, right? And now, remember how we got all the hair? Remember how we got all the hair over here and it was sticking out and it was drooping out? It's not gonna do that anymore. So if I grab my comb and I go like this and I get the comb out, look, back then, or literally 5 minutes ago, you will see a bunch of hair sticking out here. Now you don't see that anymore because it's blended in properly, right? If I go over here, same thing. It's blended in properly. As we go up, it's slanting out. All right, bro. And now, see how smooth that blends? Same thing with this side. This side is almost blended in properly already, right? So I'm just gonna do it with my comb really quick, and like I said, with my clipper really quick. And like I said, it doesn't matter what clipper you use, what tool you use, as long as you understand the proper angle, it's fine. Don't let anyone tell you, hey, you have to use this comb. Hey, you have to use shears. Hey, you have to use clipper over comb. You don't have to, okay? And if anybody tells you that's not true, you could blame it on me. And I've been cutting hair for 9 years, and obviously I understand how to cut hair. I know how to cut hair, and I'm telling you, take it from me. Please take it from me. Use whatever you feel comfortable with. I see people that cut with big ass shears from here to here, and that's how they like doing it. I see people that use their, that one's way too loud. I see people that literally use their trimmers. They'll literally go and they'll use their trimmers like this. And if you want to, you could do it. If that works for you, do it. It's fine. That's it. We're done with the haircut. That's how you do a smooth blend. You can see that right here in the back, we blended it in very properly. He still has a little wave back here, but that's not, and we can't do anything about that. But we hit it by keeping it dark up here. And look how smooth that looks. Look at that blend. It literally looks perfect. The hair over here looks perfect. When he combs it, he's not gonna have a line. And we blended it 3 different ways. And that is the power of knowing, understanding what you need to do, and then actually doing it. That looks fire. Straight up. And that's no enhancements, no nothing. That's just straight raw dogging it. The only thing I see is over here. And we didn't even detail for this haircut. But now that we did our steps so quick, we have all the time in the world to detail. If you want to be picky about there being a little dark spot right here, you could be picky. If you want to be picky about blending it like 100% perfectly over here, you can be picky. If you want to bald it out, you can be picky. Because we did our steps fast, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do now, all right?
Emotional damage.
Exactly.